Joseph, peace be upon him. When Joseph was a young boy, he saw a dream and told his father about his dream. His father said, "Don't tell your brothers about your dream, for fear of their envy." Joseph was dearest to his father among his brothers, and his brothers had envy for their father's love and preference for Joseph over them, so that they decided to throw him into the well. After they threw him, a passing caravan took Joseph from the well and sold him. Joseph was bought by the king of Egypt for less price. He returned to his wife and rejoiced with the child he bought, and asked his wife to take care of him and treat him well. Joseph grew up and became a strong and handsome young man. The king's wife watched him days after day. She loved him and threatened to put him in prison if he did not meet her desire. Joseph said he would prefer prison rather doing evil and shameful deeds by disobeying God. Joseph remained in prison for a period of time. God blessed him with the ability to interpret dreams. He used that to invite the prisoners to God monotheism and worship God alone. Two young men entered with Joseph in the prison. One was chief butler of the king, and the other one was chief baker. And after some time, the chief baker crucified, and the butler came out of the prison to be in the services of the king once again. Each one of them saw a dream that was interpreted by Joseph. It exactly happened as it was told by Joseph. One day, the king was sleeping and he saw a dream that 7 fat cows have eaten 7 skinny ones, 7 green spikes, and another 7 dry spikes. The king woke up terrified from what he had seen. He gathered his men and the scholars of his state and told them about what he had seen and asked them to interpret it. No one could interpret it. This dream continued to haunt the king and terrified him during his sleep. So he insisted to know its interpretation. Meanwhile, the king's butler remembered Joseph and went to prison to meet him and asked him to interpret the king's dream. Joseph interpreted the dream and also advised them the solution as well. The butler returned to the king to tell him about what Joseph has interpreted. The king was very happy and asked about the one who interpreted his vision. The butler said, "That's Joseph." The king said, "Bring him to me." The messenger of the king went to Joseph and told him that the king wants him. Joseph refused to go to the king before declaration of his innocence. The wife of the king confessed that the Joseph is innocent and declared his innocence in front of all the people. And after the acquittal of Joseph, the king ordered to release him from prison, honored him and brought him close and made him to choose whatever position he would like in administration. Joseph said, "Set me over the storehouse of the land," and the king agreed with pleasure. During the distribution of grains among the people, Joseph found himself in front of his brothers, who threw him into the well in his younger age. They came in need of grains and stood in front of him without knowing him. Joseph met their need and told them, "Bring your brother here from your father." When Joseph's brothers returned to their father, and they asked him to send their brother with them, Jacob, peace be upon him, refused. After strong insistence, Jacob allowed them to take him, and when Joseph's brothers came to Joseph, he made plan to keep his brother with him. Joseph ordered his men to put the king's silver cup in his brother's sack. When they were carrying their grains back to their country, Joseph sent his soldiers to search for the silver cup, and they found it in his brother's sack and arrested him. Rest of all brothers returned to Joseph for begging him to release their brother and take one of them instead of him. But Joseph refused. Then they went to their father except the youngest brother, and they told him all that happened. He did not believe them and became blind from the great sadness. They returned to Egypt after their father ordered them to return back and find out about Joseph and the youngest brother. They begged the king to release their brother. Upon their return, Joseph revealed himself to his brothers and told them about the reality and about God's blessings. His brothers apologized to him, and Joseph forgave them and prayed to God to forgive them. He knew from his brother that his father became blind for his sadness over the disappearance of his son. Joseph gave them his shirt and asked them to lay it on his father's face so he'll be able to see again. Joseph's brothers returned to their father and told him that Joseph is alive and safe. Then they took out Joseph's shirt to lay it on their father's face, and he regained his eyesight. Then the children of Israel left their land towards Egypt. Joseph received them great welcome and honored his parents and seated him on his throne. Joseph prayed to God, thanking him for his great blessings.
رب قد آتيتني من الملك وعلمتني من تأويل الأحاديث فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين